The wind howled across the ice plains of Corthus 6, a barren moon where frost never melted and the sun dared only peek through steel-gray clouds. Captain Elias Rain yanked his thermal cloak tighter around his neck as he trudged toward the derelict outpost nestled between icy ridges. Snow crunched under his boots, each step slower than the last as exhaustion took its toll. The distress beacon had been weak, barely a whisper on Alliance comms, but Elias, ever the volunteer for the forgotten missions, had rerouted his scout vessel and landed in the middle of this Arctic wasteland. What he hadn't expected was to find the outpost still standing, or occupied. Inside, the heat panels struggled, flickering orange before going cold again. Elias's breath fogged before his face as he stepped into the common room, nearly slipping on the icy floor. Then he heard her voice. "Your Alliance," the woman said, her accent fluid and lilting. "You shouldn't be here." Elias turned sharply. Sitting near a flickering emergency lamp was a woman wrapped in layered silver fabrics, frost clinging to her dark blue skin like morning dew. Her eyes, luminous and slitted like a cat's, watched him with wary calm. He recognized her species, Uluri, a race that had once warred with the Alliance before reaching a delicate truce. He'd seen them in reports, never in person. Not this close. Not like this. "I came for the beacon," he said, lowering his weapon. "You sent it." "No. The station did, automatically. After the power core ruptured 2 days ago." Elias looked around. That explained the failing heat. "You alone?" She nodded. "My name is Virea. I was on a cultural research mission. My crew left on the last transport. I stayed behind for one more cycle to document a storm system. The transport never returned." Elias sighed. "Figures. Central Command probably wrote this station off." Virea stood slowly. Her movements were graceful, almost too graceful given the temperature. "You brought a transport. A single-person scout ship. Barely fits me and a rucksack." She frowned. "Then we are stranded." "Only until the storm clears," he said, casting a look at the frozen windows. "I sent a ping before landing. Another ship might reach us by morning." "But the outpost will not stay warm until morning," she said softly, glancing at the dimming heater. "Soon it will be as cold inside as it is outside." Elias moved to the heater panel and tried a manual override. Sparked uselessly. "Generators nearly dry," he muttered. Virea gave a small nod. "I tried to ration it. But I'm not built for this climate." Elias looked back at her, her slender arms shivering under her layered robes, her shoulders pulled tight. She was trying not to show weakness. He respected that. "How many beds still work?" he asked. "One. In the inner room. The walls there are thicker. It traps some heat longer." He hesitated. "Then we'll have to share it. Body heat, insulation. It might be the only way we survive the night." Virea tilted her head. "Sharing a bed. That's uncommon in my culture." Elias gave a small grin. "Well, in mine, it's considered a necessary evil in situations like this." She looked at him a moment longer, then nodded once. "Very well." The inner room was barely warmer, but it was enough. Elias stripped off his snow-soaked boots and outer coat, leaving on his thermal undersuit as he sat on the edge of the small cot. Virea moved with deliberate grace, her robe slipping off to reveal a form-fitting suit woven with glowing filaments that pulsed gently with her heartbeat. "I didn't know Zelluri wore biothermal fabric," he said. "It helps. But only so much." Her voice had softened, her breath still visible in the air. They slipped under the thin, insulated blanket. Elias kept his body still, respectful of the unfamiliar closeness. But Viraya shifted slowly but surely, until her body pressed gently against his. She was colder than he expected, almost chilling. "You're freezing," he murmured. "We run cooler than humans," she replied. "But not this cold. Not without help." Elias wrapped an arm around her out of instinct, drawing her closer. Her head tucked just beneath his chin, and he felt the tension slowly ebb from her shoulders. "This feels strange," she said quietly. "We were once enemies. And now we're just people trying not to freeze to death," he replied. She chuckled softly. "How diplomatic of you." They lay in silence for several minutes, the quiet hum of the emergency light the only sound. Outside, the wind screamed against the reinforced walls. "You could have left," she said suddenly. "The signal was weak. No one would have blamed you." Elias tightened his arm around her. "I couldn't ignore it. Someone needed help. You risked your life. For someone you didn't know. For an alien." He turned his face slightly, meeting her glowing eyes. "You're not just an alien. You're a person. That's all that matters." A strange emotion passed through her gaze. Surprise, perhaps. Then something gentler. "You're very human," she whispered. He laughed softly. "I've been called worse." Hours passed. The heater died entirely. They stayed pressed together beneath the blanket, their limbs tangled now, their shared warmth the only thing holding back the frost. Viraya shifted, her breath tickling his neck. "Do you feel it?" she asked. "Feel what?" "This bond. This closeness. I did not think it would feel like this." Elias's heart thudded harder. "I feel it." She looked up at him. In Xeluri culture, intimacy is sacred. Shared warmth is a step toward connection, not just survival. Elias met her gaze. "Then maybe we're connecting." Her fingers brushed his chest, resting over his heartbeat. "It's fast," she said. "You're kind of close," he replied. She smiled, an actual full smile that lit her whole face. "You are strange, Elias Rain. And you're unexpectedly warm for someone with cold skin." She laughed again, softer, almost shyly. Then she grew quiet, her head resting on his shoulder. "Do you think your people would approve of this?" she asked. Elias looked at the frost forming along the doorframe. "Right now I don't care." By morning the storm had passed. A new ship landed in the clearing, an Alliance cruiser sent after picking up Elias's ping. As the ramp descended, the crew ran toward the outpost to check for survivors. Captain Elias stepped out first, Viraya beside him, draped in one of his spare coats. "Just 2 survivors," Elias said. "But we made it through the night." The crew eyed the Xeluri woman but said nothing. Elias placed a hand gently on her back, steady and protective. Back on the cruiser, as they prepped for orbit, Viraya turned to him. "When we reach the station," she said, "they will ask questions. They will ask who I am to you." He looked at her, holding her gaze. "Then I'll tell them the truth." "And what truth is that?" "You're the woman I survived a frozen moon with. The one who changed how I see the universe." Viraya tilted her head. "And you're the human who held me when the cold tried to take me. I will not forget." She reached out, fingers brushing his cheek. Delicate, reverent. Neither of them said the words. They didn't have to. Some connections are forged in fire, others in frost.